Hello and welcome to our latest video chat where we're joined by Tom Parker, current student who's in his fourth year, and team principal of X Racing, whose Project Formula student recently received funding from the Alumni Annual Fund. The Alumni Annual Fund supports the extracurricular activities that help make Exeter such a fantastic place to study, and is funded by thousands of alumni and supporters of the university whose donations are used to enhance the student experience. Welcome, Tom, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Megan. Yeah, great to speak with you about this.
Well, thank you for coming along. So I guess the first question I wanted to ask you is, what is Formula Student? What is this project you've been working on?
All right. Well, Formula Student is run by the IMechE, which is the Institution for Mechanical Engineers. It is the accreditor to the mechanical engineering degree here at Exeter and most of the universities around the country. And fundamentally it's a engineering competition between universities. So many universities have a Formula Student team like ours. And every year they design, build, compete a single-seat Formula-style race car for a series of events. Some of them static, so things like design, business case, cost report, and as well as dynamics. So that would be acceleration, sprint, and endurance. And then they get to have a bit of scoring for efficiency as well thrown in. So it's a very wide and multifaceted competition, and we are Exeter's entry to it. So yes, we are currently building our 8th car, XR08. Its chassis is just in the room next to me in its half-built state, it's coming along well. I think it will be a really good car when it's finished. And yeah, looking forward to taking it to Silverstone in July, which is where all these cars are competed with one another, and the results are derived. So yeah.
That's really exciting and nice to think that you're in the place where all the magic is going to happen, and then as a student that you get to actually race this car that you've built at Silverstone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, everything is the students, from the designing through to the prototyping, the manufacture testing, and the actual driving the car at the event. So yeah, it does give us a fantastic chance to basically have some real world responsibility and the perks and the challenges that come with that.
That's great. So in what sort of leading on from that, in what way do you feel your project has really helped the student experience, the people that are working on your team and just sort of generally?
Well, the IMechE's stated mission for the competition, which I think is spot on, is basically to provide engineering students with a complement to their degree, the theoretical knowledge that they're picking up, and learn how to actually apply it in practice, and basically learn to deal with all the challenges and caveats and difficulties which you will encounter, and learning how to deal with them in a kind of real world environment. And so yeah, personally speaking, it's been fantastic for me. I can honestly, I feel like I can sell myself as an engineer much more, because I'm not just able to say that I've done my degree, I've studied, I've done my coursework projects, but I can also say I've used that knowledge to, for example, design the jig which held the chassis in place while it was being welded. I've used it to analyze parts of the car to make sure they're strong enough, finite element analysis, and just carry all those things across. And yeah, the team has grown greatly in the last couple of years. We now officially have 70 members, of whom I would say about 30 are active in the team, and we expect more after exams end. And yeah, it's a great way to basically have fun learning new things and enhancing your CV at the same time. So what's not to like?
Definitely sounds like a win-win on that basis. And that's really exciting that you've been able to have all of that experience, like you say, for your CV, and then also to just sort of apply that learning in a really fun, tangible way. I just guess, like, on that, obviously you received this award from the Alumni Annual Fund that's supported the project. In what way did that award enhance the project and sort of support what you were able to do with it?
Well, thanks, Megan, for that question, because the Alumni Fund is genuinely the greatest enabler of what we do, besides perhaps the workshop staff themselves. Because without the money we get from the Alumni Fund, we would not be able to buy stock, the tubing, the sort of tools and kind of accessories that we need. We wouldn't be able to buy, say, the new lighter wheels, which we are building the new car from. And we honestly, I don't think we would be able to function as a team without the Alumni Fund money, which has basically means that we are able to use these facilities with stock, both bought ourselves and with organize going to the event, which obviously incurs costs in things like van hire and taking it to places to be tested. All of it. Motorsport is unfortunately not a very cheap business, and so it really is the Alumni Fund money that makes all the difference in making sure we can do what we do.
That's really great to hear that the donations that people are giving to the fund is having a really tangible impact on what you're actually able to do in this project, and being able to have a potential to have these experiences and really make the most of the whole project. So I'm really pleased to hear it's made such a difference, really, from start to
it
finish.
Absolutely has. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And another thing that I wanted to touch on when I was talking to you, because I know obviously racing can be quite a environmentally impacting element, and there's this been rise in sort of electric vehicles, and I know that you and the team have sort of been working on an electric vehicle project as part of that, and I wondered if you could tell us a bit more about what that's been like.
Absolutely, yeah. So we do plan on becoming an electric team. Up until now, we have been internal combustion engine, petrol, Honda engine from a motorcycle. We hope that this will be the last year where we are petrol, and we have been trying to lay the foundations this year to become electric. So we've had a group of fourth years doing their fourth year projects relating to Formula Student with our faculty advisor, Gian Mario, acting as their supervisor. And we have quite successfully actually got together the key control systems, shall I say, so the vehicle control unit and the inverter. And we also got back talking to a BMS over a CAN, which is kind of a communication protocol channel, and the inverter itself, that we have got to work on low voltage. Unfortunately, not the high voltage that will eventually go into the that will be going through the car's powertrain eventually. But yeah, I think we've got about as far with developing the powertrain of an electric car as we can get before we're able to bring the hardware in. And we are working with the various members of staff around the university to try and make that happen, including those at the Centre for Future Clean Mobility over at the Science Park near the motorway junction.
That's really exciting, and to think that next year you could have like a fully electric vehicle, and that you guys are really putting sustainability and climate impacts, into the thinking of what can we do to improve this this project and reduce our impact.
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes beyond our direct emissions as well when you think about it, because the more people in engineering who know when they graduate how electric cars work and how they are built and how they're tested and how they come together, I think that's really helpful for the future automotive industry to have such people coming out of university knowing how this technology works, because it is just going to become so important. Electric cars are going to take over in the long run. I'm quite convinced of that. And it'd be really exciting to be in the forefront of what's going on. I'm actually quite jealous of next year because I'll be gone. But it did. But yeah, on a sober note, building an electric car is more difficult than building a petrol one. It does require more safety kit. It does require some expensive hardware. Three-phase motors require quite sophisticated controllers. But with the new facilities that we've now had access to, and we're learning to use better and better, and see the team improving over the 4 years I've been in it, I'm really, really hopeful that next year's team will be able to pull it off. So watch this space.
I was just about to say, we'll have to check in a year's time and see how that's gone. And maybe you'll have to come back as an alumni to advise with the project and see how they're doing.
No, I'll definitely be staying in touch with the team after I've left university. Because it's been genuinely one of my formative experiences, and well, if I'm honest, I still send messages every week or so over to my predecessor in this role, asking how he managed in it before, because it is a big responsibility, and whenever you can build on a prior knowledge, stand on the shoulders of giants, as the phrase goes. That's definitely the way we would like to do things as a team.
That's really good to think that network is in place, like you say, with previous people, and that each one of you is adding to that knowledge pool and building on what future teams are going to go on to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thinking of the future, sort of what's next for the project? Is it going to be sort of just working on continuing to build the car ready for the summer in Silverstone?
Yes. So as far as we're concerned, it's all guns blazing for the competition in July. So the car next door, it's a bare chassis with a quarter of its suspension in place. We now know how to build the suspension. We've done that quarter, so we need to do the other three. And it needs fitting of its engine and its bodywork and the vehicle controls, among various other systems. We need to sort out the gear shifting system. The plan on adding an electronic clutch. So we'll see how that goes. We have various redundancy plans in place as well for things that might go awry. But for the most part, we are just gunning at getting that car built, hopefully far enough before the competition that we can arrange a test day and give any students who are part of Formula Student a chance to jump in the car and drive it. So
oh wow.
yeah
That's amazing to think you could be sitting in something you've built and designed with your own hands, and then what kind of life skills is that to come out at the end of your 4 years with, as well as all the other student experiences.
Absolutely it's for people who really commit to the team, it really builds your initiative and your ability to organize and coordinate, especially when you get into the leadership roles, which I am in now. Because I joined the team, if I'm quite honest, not knowing anything at all. Back in first year, back in 2018, would you believe? And how to look at myself and how I've evolved with the team. That's it's been great for me, and it's been great for my fellow members who yeah, I'm genuinely very grateful to the members who the engineering students who years ago started the team up, so that we've been able to get up to this point today. So.
Oh, that's great. And I think you should all be very sort of proud of what you've been able to achieve. Like you say, the last 4 years, it sounds very, just very formative, like joining it, not knowing what was going on, to getting to this point, to being the team principal. What does that kind of involve, your role as team principal?
So I am a person who, basically the buck stops with me. I'm the one who runs the team. Coordinating the various sub-teams, making sure they know their deadlines, their tasks, making sure they're able to work together properly, making sure that the things that they aren't able to sort themselves are can be addressed. I convene a meeting every week with various sub-team leaders who kind of themselves run subsections of our team. So, for example, we have the head of suspension, the head of bodywork, the head of powertrain, the head of chassis, the head of low voltage electronics, and every week we meet and we basically get up to speed with what's been going in each other's areas, and work through any issues that we have, and try and keep everything to a certain schedule. Yeah, well, looking ahead, a lot of work to do, but I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to build that car next door, and build the best vehicle that X Racing's produced. Oh. I know that's a big statement, but
I like it though. It's good. And yeah, I'm excited to see what it evolves in from the chassis that you were showing me to that car that will be going around, and hopefully Exeter will do really good showing at the competition. I guess the final note that I'd like to end on today in our chat would just be to ask, what would you like to say to our alumni and supporters who contribute to the Alumni Annual Fund? What message do you have for them?
Yeah, well, my message is really just a massive thank you for what you've allowed us to do. It's genuinely made a massive difference to this team's ability to function and perform, and so many other people, including me, have had some fantastic formative experiences thanks to what you do. So thank you, and yeah, please don't ever stop. It's great. What can I say? You're great. Yeah,
I'm sure that all our supporters will be really glad to hear that positive words, and to have learnt more today about what the fund does and the type of project that it's.
Well, I hope you feel like I've given you a decent overview of what goes on, and what we do with regards to the Alumni Fund and the money that they give us, and the support, thank you for arranging.
Thank you very much, Tom, for your time today. It's been great to hear more about the project and what the donation from the Alumni Annual Fund has helped you and the team achieve. We hope that you, our listeners and viewers, have enjoyed listening to our chat today and learning more about the work the Alumni Annual Fund supports. And we'll be back with more videos soon. Thank you so much, Tom.